Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Today I would like to present my poster entitled My Extensive Listening Journey for podcast for lesson for a better life. This poster is the result of my extensive listening project. I listened to 4 podcasts with different topics. Even though the topics are different, they all teach us how to live a healthier and better life. From this podcast, I did not only improve my listening skill, but I also learned many new expressions, many new ideas, and useful English expressions. Now, let me explain each podcast one by one. The first podcast is How to Talk About Your Brain from BBC Learning English. This podcast talks about how people have different memory abilities and thinking speed. The speakers also explain simple ways to keep our brain healthy, such as reading, learning new language, exercising, and getting enough sleep. After listening to this podcast, I realized that forgetting something is normal. I also learned that brain health is not only affected by age, but also by our daily habits. For example, good sleep, regular exercise, and less screen time before bed can help our memory. From the language side, I learned British English pronunciation. I also learned a new expression, on the tip of your tongue. It means you almost remember something, but you cannot say it yet. I think this expression very useful in daily conversation. The second podcast is talking about lunch, also from BBC Learning English. This podcast talk about lunch habit, favorite food, and the importance of enjoying our meals. The speakers also use many common expressions about food. From this podcast, I learned that bringing leftover from home can save money and reduce food waste. I also learned that skipping lunch can affect our mood and make it difficult to focus. For the language part, I learned some new words such as hungry, brunch, and working lunch. These words are commonly used in everyday English, so they are very useful for me. And the third podcast is a TED talk by Jetset Brewer. The title is A Simple Way to Break a Bad Habit. This talk explains that changing a bad habit is not only about having strong willpower. Instead, we need to understand why the habit happened. Before listening to this talk, I thought the best way to stop a bad habit was to force myself to quiet. However, this talk taught me that understanding the reason behind a habit is much more effective. For the language part, I learned some important words such as mindfulness, trigger, behavior, and reward. These words are useful when talking about psychology and self-improvement. And the last podcast is a TED talk by Casey Callum. The title is Why Social Health is Key to Happiness and Longevity. This talk explains that social health is just as important as physical and mental health. Good relationship with family, friends, and our community can make us happier, reduce stress, and even help us live longer. This podcast made me realize that spending time with people we care about is an important part of a healthy life. For the language part, I learned new words such as social health, connection, community, and longevity. I also learned how the speaker will explain her ideas clearly. Before I finish my presentation, I would like to share my final opinion about this poster project. At first, I thought listening to English podcasts was difficult. Sometimes I could not understand every word, so I listened to the podcast more than one time. However, as I continued this project, I became more confident in listening to English. I improved my listening skill, learned many new vocabulary words, and became more familiar with different accents and speaking styles. More importantly, this project taught me more than just English. Each podcast gave me a valuable lesson about life, from taking care of our brain and building health habits to understanding the importance of changing ourselves and maintaining good relationship with others. These are lessons that I can apply not only in my studies but also in my daily life. Finally, I would like to say thank you to our lecturer for all the guidance and all support during this extensive listening course. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to learn English through podcasts and TED Talks. This project was a meaningful experience for me, and I hope I can continue improving my English by listening to more podcasts in the future. Thank you very much for your attention. That's all for my presentation. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.